Hello, we're on. Oh yes. Sorry everyone who was maybe here, possibly listening to dead air because I realised the music was gone. How are you going, Eggy mate? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm good. I'm just going live myself.
Oh, just going live yourself.
Well, I'll just bringing the show up anyway. How are we today? Welcome
Oh,
everyone.
welcome, welcome.
This is all teched out, ready
Yep,
for the show every fortnight.
yep,
You can catch us gaming every other fortnight. So
yep,
tune in every Thursday at 8:30 p.m.
yep. We're a little bit late, but that's
We
because we're
are a little bit
dads
late. Yeah. But hey, I always
with
start the
lives,
stream at 8.
unfortunately.
I always start the stream at 8, so it'll just be an intro music, that's all.
Yeah, yeah. I think I started on time. I think that I ran out of intro music though. I didn't realise. So anyway, how you been, brother? How's the week been?
It's been good, yeah, really good today with a sort of a sleep in. Didn't get up till 6:30. Went for a walk with Taz at 7 o'clock. Just around the thing, having a coffee. Went around, walked around the block. Five,
Excellent.
five, 5.1 kilometer block though, but
That's
but
good.
it is good. Yeah,
That's what you want.
it's good.
5Ks, 5Ks, still burning
Yep,
off energy, mate.
yeah.
That's the main thing. It's the main thing.
So I'm going to start things new this year. I've got I got a Father's Day gift last year. It's a deck of cards of dad jokes. So at the start of every show, I'm going to read a dad joke. So I think
Excellent.
we've got 26 here. So there's actually I think there's 52. So that should get us through every no 26 should get us through every show. So
Should
we've
get
got
yeah, should get us through every show of the year.
yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And
Here's the first one.
go
How
for
do
it.
you how do you organize a space party?
How do you organise a space party? I don't
Yes,
know, Eggy. How do you organise a space party?
you plan it.
I, can I do a dad joke?
Yes, you can do a dad joke.
We are dads. So I was hoping. I was really hoping because I got a good one. I think it's a good one anyway. Why did the chicken cross the road, Eggy?
Get to the other side.
Nah,
Why did the chicken cross the road?
to get to the idiot's house. Knock, knock, Eggy.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
The chicken. My son told me that the other day. I think I read that on. No, actually, no, it was on Facebook, and I told Gabe that, and he could not stop laughing for 10 minutes. He goes, "Oh, Dad," he goes, "I reckon that's one of your best dad jokes you've got." So he's got this comedy bit he does, and he did it at work at the kitchen table. We were all having. So I had him one day at work. There's a holiday program,
Yep.
and he does a bit, and he just slowly works his way through it, and like, you're like kind of, when kids tell jokes, you go ha 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 ha, and it's kind of like that until the last punchline, and then you just roar with laughter and go, okay, yeah, that was good. Yeah, okay, that was good. That was good. So I won't spoil it. I'll save it for the next dad joke.
All right, we'll do that.
All
So
right,
in 2 weeks' time.
that's it. You'll all have to be back here in a fortnight.
Yeah. So we might kick things off with some computer news. Have you got any computer news for us?
I do have some computer news. So, as I think I've said a couple of times now, AMD is about to launch its X3D chips. For those who aren't aware, they did the 5000 series, and in that 5000 series, they did the 5800 X3D chip. Basically, all it is stacking more cache on the CPU in a way that it gives it sort of more grunt in gaming. Very
Yep.
simply put, there's a lot more technical part to it, but I won't bore people with that. Now, what that means for the 7000 series is they announced the 7600 X3D, the 7900 X3D, and the 7950 X3D. Now, what that should see is them knocking off the 13900K and KS from Intel as the fastest gaming chips. What also they've just only announced the last couple of days is they are going to be overclockable. Now, the 58800X3D was locked. You could only use it at the stock speed. I think you could use PBO, which is in the BIOS, where it has a performance mode, but it was pretty locked down. And I think it was because it was their first effort. They were a bit worried about temps and sort of, they're a little bit worried about sort of it being so new and possibly causing issues if you could overclock and stuff. So the great news is that with the new 7000 series chips is they have announced that those chips will be overclockable. Now it'll be interesting to see how overclockable, because if they are anywhere near as good, because the 5800 X3D chip as a gaming chip, if you wanted a really good gaming computer right now, and like your good self, sir, you have an X570 board or a B450 board, you get yourself a 5800 X3D, which are around that $400 mark at the moment. If you got a dedicated graphics card, you'd even go a 5700, a 5800X.
Yep.
Which at the moment are just really cheap.
I was looking at getting another 3600 for the streaming PC because that kept crashing last time I doing it, so now I'm running off the gaming one. But
Well,
but it's like they're like $100. But what's it? A 5500X is only $149, and that's brand new with warranty.
that's right. Yep, I'd be just paying an extra $50, mate. That's easy peasy. 5600G for example. If you want to go that high, they're just under two. I think Amazon's got them for $199.
Yep.
So if you wanted a little bit more grunt, again, and I think 5700Xs are not.
Havoc's in the chat. Is that what's up, boys? How are we doing tonight? Good.
We are excelentes.
Just talking a bit of PC talk.
Yep.
I haven't seen you in chat before, or have you changed your Twitch name? Were you something else before? I don't recognise Cry Havoc. Do you recognise it, Bob?
No, Cry Havoc? No, I don't, mate.
He's new here.
Welcome. Come on board. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you'll enjoy the show and come back next week where we do some gaming. And I play video games very badly, and Eggy plays a little bit better than I do. But that's because he's younger.
Slightly.
Yeah, your eyes are a bit better than mine.
Just
as you can tell.
They seem cool, so I popped in. Thanks for telling us. We do look pretty cool, don't we?
We try to be. We do our best. So next piece of news is there was a bit of a rumor running around the internet that AMD's brand new 7000 series GPUs, so graphics cards, were cracking dies because of drivers. And yeah, as the tech media do, as soon as that sort of got out, it ran wild. But some of the more respected outlets like Gamers Nexus and DeBauer and Hardware Box kind of pegged back a bit on that and said, "Oh, let's wait and see." It's only one user who's reported this on Reddit. Yep. It was then discovered it was basically the GPUs it was the 7900 XTX, so the top of the line GPU that they're selling at the moment, AMD. And what they found was it was being used in a mining environment, and the person who was mining wasn't controlling the humidity, so there was water going literally under the piece of the graphics die under the chip. And what was happening is when it was getting hot, it expands, and it expanded to the point where it cracked the die. So it wasn't AMD drivers killing it, or unfortunately AMD have had some issues with temperatures on their reference cards, they can get pretty toasty, but it seems like the performance-wise, there's no difference with the more expensive independent partner cards, but the temperatures are significantly better. I think there was a review by Gamers Hardware Box, and there was, no, it wasn't. Who was it? They had Linus from Linus Tech Tips. He had a Power Color Red Devil. Very nice looking card and very, very quiet. And he said, look, performance wise, there's no difference. There's no difference between that and the reference card. But he said it's bucket loads quieter, and like literally had to grab his mic right up to the fan to actually even hear it when it was going at like. So he goes, "You put that in a PC, you're not going to hear it." So looks like once again then the internet goes into a frenzy, and then someone goes, "Well, let's all calm down a bit. We'll
Just to
investigate."
catch up on chat, I just want to say thanks, I Cry Havoc, for the follow. He's asked about Australia and New Zealand. Well, we are in Australia, and Bob is. Are you Australian? I'm not sure if you're.
I am born and bred, mate.
Yep.
I am
Okay.
theoretically, yes.
I was born in New Zealand myself, but yeah, I live in Australia now for 35 years now.
Yep. I was born and bred in Australia. I was born in Melbourne,
he
so.
also said, I don't understand how mining works. What is it that they're mining exactly? I'm not sure if you're talking about mining, were you?
Yeah, I was. So
Yeah.
crypto mining, which basically you probably would have maybe heard a little bit about how it's all collapsed, and it's to do
Yes,
with
it has.
Bitcoin and what was the other one, the big one?
Ethereum.
Thank you.
Yep.
Went blank then. Ethereum and Dogecoin, and how these virtual coins are mined using graphics cards, and at one point that jacked the prices stupidly because it was profitable. But
Microphones that to all the girls getting a bit loud.
that's all right. My young tucker just passed out. So he literally, he went to stay over his grandma's place last night. I don't think he slept a lot. She's old. She gets up a lot. He didn't sleep well.
I Cry Havoc just put in chat. He's 25 years old in the US Army, which is single system support specialist. Anything that gives or takes a signal in my job. I work with HF antennas, 2001B antennas, etc. Mainly radio work, but I'm trying to break into and learn about coding, but for the Army. Do you have any suggestions where to start? I don't know much about coding myself.
Look at some online courses. You can do a lot of coding stuff online these days.
Or even YouTube. That's
Yeah.
That's just free courses lately.
Curiosity Stream is something to maybe go and check out as well, because they
Twitch as well.
no, it's a platform, and
Yep.
Curiosity Stream. If you look around, there's a couple of content creators that actually get sponsored by them. I've watched some of them. There's a guy called Mentor Pilot that I really enjoy watching. I got it for Gabe, and he's kind of gone off it, but I actually quite enjoy it. But it also has a guy who does legal stuff, and there's a lot of people on the platform who provide content on there about their speciality that they do. So, for example, our friend in chat here could get up he could get on the stream, and he could get up on that platform and talk about parts of his job and how it works and what's involved, and maybe he might know how to diagnose things when they go wrong and that sort of thing. So he might have but yeah, there's like professional photographers, content creators on there, stepping you through how to be, how to learn their specific tasks. So I would imagine there'll be coding on there. So it's worth checking out, mate. It's definitely great, and certainly learning some skills that you could apply outside the army, because you might one day wake up and decide you don't want to be told what to do, where to go, how to go, as our as one of our favourite TV show characters, Jack Reacher, once said. I got sick of being told where to go and how to go and what to do, and so check it out, Curiosity Stream. That's the one you want to go and have a look at.
And that's curiositystream.com.
Yep. Like I said, go and check out Mental Pilot. I think, what was his name? Legal Eagle, I think is his name. And he's great. He follows, like, he did all the Amber Heard stuff. He's doing a lot of Alex Jones content, and just talks about the law in the US. He's actually quite an interesting guy to listen to, and just how crazy some of the laws are.
Yep.
But going back, one last thing, there's a great channel. I don't know whether you've ever watched a guy called Brian from BPS Customs.
No, I haven't.
And he kind of took off and then kind of plateaued. He's not a huge content creator, but he's quite well known amongst the tech tubers. Like, he took off at the time that Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unboxed, Paul's Hardware, Linus, all those guys kind of took off, but he quite hasn't maintained the like he hasn't. He's a one man band. I don't think he's interested in growing and expanding and getting more people working for him and all that stuff. But he did a really interesting talk about people need to stop looking at FPS counters,
Yep.
frames per second counters on gaming PCs, and how the and he said, and he put his hand up. He said, "Look, I do not for one moment pretend I'm not part of this problem." He goes, "Because we get new products like 4080s and 4090s, and we test them out and we get excited and we say, oh, look how cool these things are." But but reality is, you, yeah, it's cool, but do you need it? And is your gaming PC not giving you the experience you want? And if it isn't, if it's it's you can't play all the games that you want to play, you can't play them at the resolutions you want to play, and or the system's just slow and buggy. Absolutely, like these reviews are for those people. And I just loved how he talked about, because you get people like me who are enthusiasts. Now, for me, if I decide to upgrade something or change over to something, it doesn't mean, oh, well, this week I can't pay my rent, or this week I'll miss a mortgage payment this month, or I can't put petrol in the car. It doesn't mean that for me. So I'm in a privileged situation. I've got the ability to kind of take a bit of a hit by selling some of this stuff used and offset that and really see it as a hobby.
Yep.
But there's other people out there who don't update their, like I wouldn't like I don't plan to update, for example, Gabe's PC anytime soon.
Yep.
It's got a 5800X CPU in it. It's got a 2070. All the games he plays currently run absolutely fine. He's got no reason for an up. Now, if he started to want to really do content creating and video editing and music, because he's got a keyboard and he seems to have some interest in that, then yes. But I just thought it was a really good video worth sort of checking out. BPS Customs, and he talks about the about that, and he copped a lot of flack. Of course it is. You need the max, and he's like, look, it's fine. You can disagree with me. I'm not saying you have to agree with me, and same here. Like, people don't have to agree with me, but I'm just saying, people need to think, especially with what's happening currently in the world.
Yes.
What do need to? We all need to learn a little bit better about making sure we have what we need, and worrying a little bit less about what we want.
Yep.
But anyway, that's about it from current news.
Yep.
For new stuff. Now, Iggy, you were going to talk about
Crypto.
crypto.
So it did take a dive before Christmas. Like we were looking at Bitcoin down around the $25,000 mark. I think Ethereum was around the $1,700 to $1,800 mark. But in the last 30 days to 60 days, it's up almost 40%. So we got Bitcoin now at 32,000. This is all in AUD, of course. We've got Ethereum up at 2,260. Solana's had a big increase. I think that dropped down to almost $19 or $18, and now it's up to $34. So it's over the last 30 days, it's gone up 118%. So Polygon Matic, that's still been sitting pretty good. That's only up 22% over the last 30 days. I think it dropped down to around about $1.25, and it's up to like $1.41 now.
What's changed? Do you think? What's changed? What's caused?
I reckon that people leading up into Christmas, looking for that bit of extra money, have started selling out, and then come back to the new year, back to work. Everyone's starting to slowly dip back into it. And next year, I think around March, is due for the Bitcoin halving again. So it would be 4 years, and that's the way the cycle's been going. Is usually like the year, but before the build up, it starts like before the halving, it starts to build, and then it hits all time highs just after that, and then it skyrockets for the bull run for the next year and a half, and so this hopefully we'll see another bull run cycle within the next 16 months.
As a gamer, and selfishly, I hope not. But no, I'm joking. Look, yeah, I mean, look, it's like any. I just think and I've shared this before, I think the crypto world is needs to resolve its credibility issues.
Yep.
Because until it does that, no one cares.
Yep.
No one's going to take it seriously.
I think that's where the next sort of giant step will be, is around the security and
Yeah.
So once they get, and the like what do they call it, the SEC and that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the government. Yeah, the SEC in the US, and I think it's the SEC even in Australia. It's the Securities Commission here in Australia that does all the financial regulator.
Once they get like the security on the hacking and security on like the rug pulls and the scams.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Well, that was the big story last couple of weeks. Is don't know whether you've watched a guy called CoffeeZilla. You would enjoy watching him, and he did some excellent journalism and investigative journalism on Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo.
Ooh, yes, I could imagine about that.
And it was like Logan Paul came out firing all guns. Like, I'm going to sue him, he's a rat, he's this, he's that. To the point where it blew up so bad in Logan's face, and he's issued an apology. On his secondary channel, of course, not on his main one. Can't be too humble. But I think it really exposed Logan Paul for what he was. He was a hustler.
Yep.
He's a guy trying to make a buck. He's not a good financial advisor.
No,
He's a YouTube celebrity.
He's doing it right. I think he spent $1 million on a Pokemon card. I think he spent $800,000 on a Pokemon card and got ripped. It was end up being a fake or something.
Yeah, I think he's been dudded, yeah. I think with Pokemon stuff, I think he's been dudded really badly. But in saying that, he's also, Cryptos effectively did, and it was, you watch it and it's heartbreaking, man. Like, there was guys, actually a couple of Aussies and Kiwis. I think there was an Aussie guy who plowed 500,000 Australian dollars into it. Because, it's going to be the next big thing. It's got Logan Paul behind it. It's going to explode. And it's done, like, literally they're worthless. So, anyway, he's committed to coming out going, I'm going to fix it. We're going to get some new developers. And, but go check it out. If you want to see why crypto's got a long way to go to legitimacy. And I want to be very clear. Crypto is just a new version of the stock market.
Yes.
Just different things.
There's different things, and there's like different implementations they can do with the web in the States, like verifying who you are and like doing transactions and owning digital assets and stuff like that.
So
we shall see how the next 10 years go and see what they say is true, if the crypto is the next big internet boom.
Or bust, you don't know.
No.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Nobody knows. No, nobody honestly knows. And
in 10 years' time, there's going to be computers that'll be fast enough, and with AI and everything's going to be fast enough and good enough to be able to break the code of crypto and be able to hack the 2000 computers and databases and ledgers that it's got going, and be able to forge things, I reckon. But we'll see.
I think the world wants to go to a digital currency.
Yep.
No country is willing to give up their current currency. I mean, listening to this guy, very heavy. Peter Zian is his name. For anyone who wants to look him up, a bit of a doomsday predictor. Been safe for a long time. He's gotten a couple of things right, a couple of things wrong. But one of the things he talks about, he gives a really interesting history on currency and its value and how it establishes a value. And this is, I was thinking about it from a crypto perspective, and he just explained very simplistically explain that your currency has to be deemed valuable by, like, you had the Egyptians who had, silver.
Yep.
Then you had the shekel, which was gold, and then you had the British pound, and now in our current time, it's the US dollar. It's considered the most stable currency in the world because it's got a stable political system, contrary to all the flashy news. Reality is that there's little chance it's on the brink of collapse anytime soon, and governments don't suddenly change, and they don't do too crazy things to make the world unstable. Like, they're not a North Korea where they threaten all sorts of crazy stuff against other countries, and and they don't so most people can walk around quite freely in the US and live quite freely. It's not an oppressive regime, so to speak. So its currency is valued, and it's valued. It's the gold standard. Now, someday that might not be the case. Someday that might change to crypto. But the problem is, can crypto do that? The challenge is, you have to have enough people thinking it's valuable.
Yes.
And the problem is, crypto being, you can't touch it, you can't feel it.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's the same with, like, online gambling these days. Like, people go down in a spiral doing gambling and that, because it doesn't, like, when you look at your statement, it doesn't feel like real money. Like, when you look at your account on Sportsbet or something, it doesn't feel like real money. So you just throw it all on the next horse system, and you do it like this or do something like that. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's really dangerous unless you're disciplined or yeah.
I did the same. Like, I got paid a cash bonus at the end of last year, and then, like, over the holidays, you try not to use it because you're trying to save it. Like,
yeah, you're going, oh, yeah, it's like physical money in your hand. You're like, okay, well, I don't want to, do I need to pay for that? Do I want to buy that? Because I've got to hand this 100 over, or this 50.
yeah.
It's a lot harder versus going, beep,
Beep.
paid. And then you see a statement at the end of the month, you go, oh shit, I've got to pay for that. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And then I did see the that post about the $50 note, like, compared to the $50 tap on your card, whereas it's like transaction fee.
Yes. How that $50 note is a $50 note every time it's passed along. It doesn't lose its value, whereas the $50 transaction to the hairdresser, or the $50 tap to the mechanic, or to the supermarket, or whatever business you're talking about, but more so small business. Big business couldn't care. Like, they'd prefer all electronic. In fact, a lot of them, like, I've noticed a lot of stores now say we're cashless.
Yeah,
but the reason is because it's a lot less labor intensive.
yeah.
So if you've got cash, you got to pay someone to bring that cash in. You got to pay someone to take that cash out, and then you got to pay the bank to put it into your bank.
Yep.
So it's kind.
And then
Yeah.
you got to pay every till, like, an extra half an hour at the end of each day, so they can count the till and see why it doesn't add up.
That's right. Or you're going to pay half an hour for them to start earlier to make sure that everyone's got money in their till and the tills are balanced and they're starting the day right.
Yeah.
And oh shit, I'm out of change. Oh, I've got to go to the bank. Hey, Mr. Manager, we're running out of $10 notes or $20 notes. Okay, I'll go to the bank. Someone's got to go to the bank. Bank charge, and the bank started to charge now. Going, oh yeah, you want to tell her to give you money? Oh, that's $2 every time you come and do it. And then there's the risk of doing that. The increased risk of getting robbed. So, or someone walking in and going, up to the lady at the register and going, give me all your money. I mean, look, we're probably pretty lucky in Australia that doesn't happen a lot because of cameras and and also it's hard. Like you couldn't walk into you take a look at how Bunnings is set up. You would think, I could walk up to that till, rob the person behind that till, and run out the store. You got like 100 tradies around you at any one time. Good luck. when that one of them pick up on, oh, he's robbing the joint. Yeah, good luck with that, champ. Because unless you've got a gun, and that's not a simple thing, because if you're able to obtain a gun, usually it means you're smarter than the average bear. And if you're going to rob something, you're going to rob something. If you've got a gun, you're going to rob something with very high value. You're not going to go and try and get a couple $100 out of a till in Bunnings.
No.
But yeah, you're right. I think crypto's got an interesting next 10 years.
Yes, it does. Good to see.
And if you can get in on the low and get out on the high, I think you can make lots and lots of money. I think there'll be a couple of crypto bros who'll
We'll get on the right meme coin now. That's going to last the next bull run.
freaking
We're not financial advisors. We're just
hell no. Don't be. Ask my wife how good I am with financial advice. I'm good with spending.
Yep.
Saving, not so much. Hold on a second, mate. I've just realised I've got to change chairs for a sec because
Right.
I'm on this crappy one it's Amelia's old office one, and I have it in here just as a spare. Oh, right. Yeet. As they would say.
Yeah, we're going to touch on a bit of the used PC market.
Yes, speaking of spending money.
Yeah. Last weekend I bought a what was it? An i7. It's an old DDR3.
Yeah, it was what is it, 45, 70K or something like that?
I think it's 37 something. 30. It was an i7 30 something. 3070 or something like that. I can't remember.
No, that wasn't it. No, you were talking about that.
3770. I'm not sure. Well, I haven't.
I'm just having a look through our chats. So keep talking.
I've got it. I've got it half put together. Just been the end of school holidays and that. We've been doing a bit of stuff lately.
Yeah.
And with work, back to work and everything. So I'll hopefully get that put together and maybe knock that off. But I think it'll be my last DDR3 PC. I don't know how much longer they'll last, but I don't know how much I'll get for it either. But
Man, you can get like 32 gig of DDR4 RAM for like under $150.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's scary. Like, yeah, why would you go down to DDR3 RAM where if it craps itself, you can't actually replace it anyway?
No.
You have to try and find some used ones. Yeah. That was a 3770K.
Yep.
You ended up getting because you ended up getting that for quite a good price.
Yeah, $70 come with the case, come with the CPU and the motherboard, and I had all the other parts just lying around, not really doing anything, and sitting there for the last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was my old streaming PC until I built this one, and then it was an old Dell. What was it? An Optiplex 9020.
Oh, yep.
So yeah, I'm just gonna probably bin that board and then maybe try and sell the CPU if I can. If I can't, I'll donate it.
What CPU is it?
What you said before, 4590K or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But it's the CPU should be fine. It's out of a Dell system, and it should be the same as any other one.
Yeah. The issue is going to be the motherboards
that's
or
what I said,
proprietary
it should be
bullshit. So yeah.
What about yourself? You looked at any used parts lately?
Yeah, so a couple of things I've noticed. GPUs keep getting cheaper.
Yep.
Like I've noticed like some 3080s for around that $800 mark.
Yep.
$900 mark. But even like 2060s, that 250, 300.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And 1660 supers for like 150.
50,
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just like, what?
Well, I'm still using one now, and I've been playing Dota 2, been playing Fortnite, been playing what else? Valheim.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with them. There's absolutely nothing wrong. If you're playing some basic game, especially for kids, perfect. Really cheap upgrade. If your kid's got some, like a 1030 or a 1050 Ti or something like a really low end GPU, or even a 1070 or something like that, bump it up to a 2060 and
Yep.
you're laughing. Um, Even 1080 Ti's, around that 350 mark. But I think a lot of those have gone through a lot of a second round of mining. So I think if you see them cheap, you have to be really, really careful.
Yeah, like they could have been 1080. How old are they?
1080 Ti, well, they're getting to five,
Mm.
6 years age.
So like yeah, a lot of them got snapped up before the last bull run, which was 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, because people were just flogging them off, going, "Oh yeah, that's it, that's done."
Yep.
We
Yeah, because
whatever.
the 1080 were doing good with Ethereum. They're making $15 a day off them. So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
made the most of it.
they were still making a decent amount of money. That's absolutely for sure the case. 2017. So what are we talking about now? Yeah, five,
Six.
6 years. Yeah,
Yep.
none of those got warranty. That
No.
I mean, they were good cards for their day. They
Yes.
were absolutely fantastic cards. But a 3060 at around that price is, or a 3070 around that price is not going to be far off a 1080 Ti.
Yep.
Even a 4070 Ti. Yeah. But anyway, time will tell. What else? And power supplies have been starting to get cheap.
Yep.
I know why, or I think I know why, and it's a lot of a lot of people at the moment who are going, I like if you buy a new graphics card, they want to get the proper 12-pin connector on the power supply and not have to use the splitting dongle that comes with the graphics cards.
Yep.
So they have the proper, just the one plug, and that's it. Um, and yeah, like 650 to 750 watt PSU's going for like $100, which for 99% of people is bloody more than enough. Especially if you're doing a used system like a 2060 or 2070, even 30. Even if you're like talking about a 3080 or a 3090, like you know, an 800, 850 watt power supply is going to be more than enough. Like until you get to about the 3090, that's when you might start worrying about a power supply needing more power. But anything under like a 3080 and lower, 750 power supply is going to be fine.
Yep.
It's not going to have an issue. But the next thing you were going to talk about is we were talking about we touched on this is
And
money and all that, and
again,
investments.
this is not financial advice, but yeah, I've been me and Taz all like me and Taz have been talking about it, but I've been looking at it myself lately to starting to diverse my portfolio and invest in a few things. So I'm starting to look at shares next. So I found CMC Markets. They're like a online share buying place. I know ANZ Bank uses them, Bendigo Bank uses them, so I think they're fairly pretty decent. Um, and they got Australian market or the ASX, and they got 14 other international markets. Because I was looking at buying some Canadian stocks. I found one place that does mining. It does like lithium, it does copper, and something else mining, which is like I can't remember. It was like the three main ingredients it is to build lithium batteries, and they're mining all three of them. So I thought I'd
Cobalt,
jump on. Pardon?
cobalt, lithium,
Yeah, yeah, I think that was it. Yeah,
and there's one
yeah,
more. Yeah.
yeah. I think it was like copper or something. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So yeah, they're mining those three main ingredients. So I thought, yeah, I might jump on them early because I think they're cheap. I think you got to buy a minimum of 500 shares, but I think they're only 20 cents each, so it costs you about $100. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
putting $50 in a week away for that, and putting $50 in a week away for crypto, and then hopefully we'll see how we go for the next year
Okay.
or two. So I've been trying that, and then
I
also
will give you finish what you're going to say,
yep.
but I will give you a word of warning once you finish.
Okay. I've also been looking at just trying to make a little bit of money on the side, like online, like flipping stuff, like I've got the PCs and that, flipping that. I've got a couple little apps. Where's my phone now? There is Snooper. we can go around the shops, taking photos of shops and stuff, and you earn a bit of extra coin on Snooper. And then there's Adapole, which is you're doing surveys. You earn a little bit of extra money doing
Yeah, I
surveys.
saw that. You sent that
Yeah,
through tonight. Yep, yep,
yeah, I did.
yep.
Actually, should probably send in the Adapole link. Put that in the chat. Maybe put it on Facebook. Get a bit extra affiliate marketing links.
Why not?
Yeah.
Everyone, it's not illegal. It's
No. So, but
no.
even if you sign up, I'll get $1, you'll get $1. So we end up starting up an extra dollar with each
Mhm.
other.
Cool.
And yeah, start earning something. I think I've made $3 something in the past 24 hours. So if I can do that over like every day, like doing an hour every day or half an hour every day, you should look around $100 a month. That's an extra $1,200
Yeah.
at the end of the year. That could invest that and could be something else. And it was me and Taz were at the shop, like down the local shops, waiting for our coffees, and we're like, oh, there's a couple of PowerPoints here. We could put our money together and buy a claw machine, so we can put the claw machine down in the shopping centre. See if you can make any money that way either.
Yeah, you can. Just be careful with that stuff because that can be quite complicated and difficult. I had a lady that I was friends with, and her husband had invested in these candy machines,
Yep.
but it was really hard to get into good locations.
Yes.
Like they
Yes.
were locked down to like major players, like people who owned hundreds of these things, and they usually, it was very hard to get a good location. And he thought he was going to make millions out of it, and
Yep.
didn't. He made nothing. He blew his money basically. A word of warning about some of these trading platforms.
Yep.
I think, have you got an account with them?
Yes.
Okay. Have they let you trade yet?
Uh,
Like, have you tried to buy some shares?
about to. Like I've just transferred $50 in, and I've gotta wait. I think it'll probably be in there Saturday morning or something. Because
Okay.
holiday and that. Yeah.
I'm not sure how this platform works. I haven't read enough about it. But I can tell you my experience with, I think it was Coindesk. No, it wasn't Coindesk. It was another one.
Coinbase.
Coinbase, it might have been. Yeah. It was one of these free trading platforms.
Yep.
Right. And one of the things they made you do is actually do a questionnaire on, like, if you wanted to buy stock, they made you, and you effectively had to have studied and understood, had to have a decent knowledge of financial consequences of trading on their platform. And there was a guy called Patrick, what's his name? Patrick Betts, something. Patrick David Betts is his name, on YouTube.
Yep.
And he did a fantastic talk explaining about how you literally could bankrupt yourself playing in those on those platforms.
Yep.
Because what they do is they have what they call margin calls.
Oh yes.
So you've got to be careful, because it's not like I'll just buy this stock and I'll buy, like, there's a consequence of the stock going up and down, and you've got to be able to cover the cost of the differences.
Yep.
And what he was,
sort of like if you're getting a home loan, and then the housing market goes down or something, they ask you to put more money into your loan because they now
need to increase your equity because you're in negative equity.
Yep.
And that's a whole different kettle of fish, the mortgage market, because let me tell you that you're right, that's coming. But yeah, just a word of warning for anyone listening to the show: be very careful. Make sure you absolutely understand. And I am glad because I'd created it and I kind of try to, you know, skim through it.
Yep.
And I just want to buy some shares, man. Like, fuck, it's not that hard. Oh, now I get. Oh, do I still have this? Do I still have? Binance. That's who it was. Binance.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You were like leverage trading and stuff like that. Yeah.
And like he said, do not use these platforms. They will. My God, he said, and he explained it step by step. How quickly you went from you could owe them like hundreds of thousands, like $100,000. Like how quickly those margin calls got scary, very, very scary. And I was like, oh, I am so glad I wasn't allowed to do that. I'm so glad I didn't start because I didn't understand. Like, I really didn't understand until I saw his talk. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sort of thing that destroys families. Like, that's the sort of stuff, in all seriousness, all joking aside, that wives leave husbands over because the husband goes, it's only a bit of fun and I'm only investing.
I think
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you need to pay 100 grand, mate.
and the difference for it is CFD and shares or stocks. Whereas I think shares, you're taking ownership of the underlying stocks. So the CFD is you're speculating on market prices. So I think that's the one. So if the market price goes down, or something like that.
The worst, yeah. As long as this CMC markets is, like you said, you buy a share at $25, for example, and it goes to $5. Well, you just lost your $20.
Yeah.
Or if it goes to zero, well, you've lost your share.
Yeah.
That's it, and that's all there is. Whereas, yeah, like I said, these other ones, but if it's like these other ones where there's, oh no, these shares are, they were 100 and now they're 25. You've got to pay that difference. You've got to cover that difference off because you've got 1,000 of those shares. It was eye-watering. It was like it scared the shit out of me. Like I was like, oh no, okay, glad. Well, take it easy, champion. And that's why I had a bit of a flutter with you guys on the on the chickens and the NFTs and stuff because I thought, oh, that I kind of I get it. Sort of don't really make sense because I'm like, it just sounds like people are stupid enough to buy them at higher prices than what you buy them. I don't see how they're valuable, but hey, it sounds like it can make some money.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah. And to be fair, look, I think, the I don't know what were we called, stingray dogs.
Yeah,
yeah,
stingray looking dog.
yeah.
I'm hoping in the next bull run that all those like play to earn NFTs might bounce back again. But we'll see what happens.
Those NFTs are really going to have to show value for money.
Yeah.
I think the next time round, because after all the debacle of NFTs this time round, yeah. Look, I think you're right. I think it's a cycle. I think you're right. I think NFTs will come back, and I think that technology will be different, and AI will be involved, like you said. Yeah. But anyway, what's next on our list here, Eggy?
Wanted to talk about a bit of reading. I know you're an avid reader and that, but like I've been trying to read, but I'm not. I get out of it. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks and that. Yep.
I've started. I have started. Yes. What are they going to come up? Yes, I have started. I think Audible's $8 a month for 3 months, so I'm giving it a bit of a go.
Yep. I've just been like.
Bear with me for a sec. I'm just going to log into my Audible and I'll tell you what I'm reading because I'm like, oh, am I reading something? Or I don't. Yeah. Where are we here? Hi, Dean. Yep. All right. Okay. My books. Here we go. So at the moment, the book I was listening to that I mentioned early in the show, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. The end of the world is just the beginning, mapping the collapse of globalization. There's some cheery reading, boys and girls. If you're not depressed by the end of that book, well, fuck, you are the ultimate optimist. Very like very dry, very heavy. I've listened to a bunch of it, and I actually should say I've got 8 hours left. I don't know whether I've got 8 hours left in me. Because it's really heavy and it's really depressing.
Yeah.
Really depressing.
So I remember, like, I haven't read the Wolf of Wall Street, but I listened to the audiobook, and that was before the movie came out. And then I just watched the movie.
Is it John Belford reading it, or is it just the Amazon guy?
I can't remember. I can't remember now. It was years ago. Like, Ava's 9 now, and she was just a baby. It was before Addie.
Yeah.
Drove to Sydney. It was overnight. We drove so she could sleep in the car overnight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street, and he did have a follow-up book to it too.
How to Catch the Wolf of Wall Street, that one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. How to Catch the Wolf of Wall Street. I still think he hasn't changed. And to be fair, the only reason Jordan Belford went to jail is he didn't listen to the order. He didn't have money long enough in his family, because you look at the Rothschilds and all the really powerful, the Clintons and the Trumps of the world, and these are guys who've had money long enough to know you have to balance. Sometimes you have to cop a bit of shit from the regulators.
Yep.
But long term, you'll make money. And that was the thing, Jordan thought he could stick his middle finger up at the IRS. Al Capone never went to jail for any crime he committed. He went to jail for tax evasion. So in other words, what it said to everyone, you can screw with any other government agency, the FBI, the CIA, you can do any of those. But you don't mess around with the tax man. And that is exactly what's happened in Australia. A lot of the underbelly guys of all these, very difficult now to get away with what they used to be able to get away with back in the day, with cash and, I'm a professional punter. I won this money on the horses. And there were people within those industries that would help make that lie believable.
Yep.
Or support that lie. And that's no longer the case, because those guys now have consequences if they're lying, in the sense of, well, you said you made $10 million profit last year, but geez, that's a pretty big loss. How did you cover that? Because we can't see anywhere in your books here where you recovered it. Where did that money come from? Oh, my mate Tony. Oh, yeah, what's Tony's surname? Well, let's have a look at what he does for a living.
Is that why they all buy pubs? They just feed it through the pokies.
Pubs. Great.
Nightclubs.
Nightclubs, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a raging sale. Look at my place. If you want to look at a really cool old school movie on like criminal gangsters, watch The Craze. Oh, Legend. It's called Legends, with Tom Hardy, and he plays the two Cray brothers.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I forgot. It's on a streaming service I don't have, but I did want to watch it. Yeah.
I thought it was on Netflix. Legend. It's called Legend.
15 movie.
Binge. No, it's on. You got Amazon Prime?
I do.
It's on Prime.
It is on Prime?
Yep.
Alright,
It's saying it's on Prime.
because because I did see it. It was on. It says it on. It goes on Amazon.
Oh,
and
it's
you,
part of BritBox.
This it's like BritBox or Paramount. You need to subscribe to them.
Oh, that's a bit of a. Oh, it's $1 for 1 month.
Actually, I can. Oh no, it's on Stan. It's on Stan at the moment.
Have you got Stan?
No. I do for the next couple of days. I borrowed it off my sister-in-law, so I could watch Bumper in Berlin.
Watch that.
So
Like I
it's
said,
on
yeah, man, it
Prime
is
Premium.
awesome.
No,
Like,
it might be on binge. It says binge subscription, so I'll be able to watch it on binge. I think.
have you got Binge?
Yeah, I got binge.
Any good?
Binge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like I don't pay for it. My mother-in-law pays for it, so it's like like between the
I
family
just,
that
yeah.
we'll sort of buy one and we'll just share it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
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 And then if you go to jump on and then you can't get on because there's too many people watching, then you just miss out, I suppose.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it's the one movie I've watched Tom Hardy in, and I've gone, shit, that guy can act. Like I think he's one of the best actors ever. Like I really think he's just right up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of that. But also, I have read. I did listen to Jack Reacher, No Plan B. The books.
Yep.
Books are good.
Yep.
Better than the show. Like
What-
the
what-
show's
what's-
good, but
Yeah. What's the is that what it's called? No Plan B. That or is that the season 2 part of it? The books, because I thought it was called something else. It says based when you watch Reacher. It says based on
oh no, that's the Killing Floor.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that one's based on, is the Killing Floor. And then look, like I said, if look, the show will only go, look, as long as they stick to the source material, use all the good bits, make it flow really well. The only thing that I think, I don't know how many more years Alan Richardson has got in him as Reacher, because it's a pretty, like, physically going to be taxing on his body. Yeah, is it Alan Richardson? Yes, it is. Yeah, so Alan Richardson, so what is it? Oh. He's actually got plenty of time. He's only 40.
Yep.
He was born in 82.
And for the amount of money too, like every sort of season, you watch any TV show, when it goes on to more and more seasons, the money goes up and up and up. So if you want to earn that money, you gotta perform for it, don't you? So
Yeah, I didn't realise he played Aquaman in Smallville.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. That's where he made his debut. Fucking, he's jacked.
As Aquaman or now?
I think more now than Aquaman. But it's really interesting. I saw this YouTuber show how he, like, you get these guys who work out and you're like, wow, and how do they get so defined? And literally took a photo and he goes, okay, watch this. Spent like 10, 15 minutes getting blood going to all the muscles. So doing all these different little exercises,
Yep.
all explosive to just activate and get blood going to them. Changed the lighting, sprayed some water on himself, and he looked ripped. It was like chalk and cheese between the two photos. In the first photo, you could go, oh yeah, that guy's fit. But in the next photo, when you're like, whoa. But yeah. But he's got to be on some supplements as well.
Yep.
He's not going to be he's not going to just be like that naturally. Wow.
So speaking of like books and audiobooks, do you listen to any podcasts?
I've listened to Rogan.
Yeah.
Depending on the guest, I'm very, very selective with what I listen to on Rogan. Sushi Manga, if I want a good laugh.
Yeah.
I always love what they've got. Spicy Meatballs
Yep.
is their podcast on Spotify. The Punisher. You ever watch that?
No, no.
The TV show,
What's it called?
The Punisher.
No.
You reckon you like Reacher, mate? Go and check out The Punisher.
Punisher.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't watch
What's
that in
up?
front of the kids.
Nah. I watched that Terminal List that Tom recommended to us. That was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was better than Reacher, but I think it's more a military background sort of show, and I think that's what sort of Tom's got a military background in him too. So I think that's why
Oh, okay, yep.
you can relate to it and that. But yeah, it's a pretty good storyline and that. Like
Yeah.
I recommend it if you want to watch it. If you've got nothing to watch.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, the other one you want to check out is definitely The Punisher. It's got a guy called John Bethanol in it.
Yep.
Been around for a while. If you look him up, as soon as you see him, you'll go, "Oh, I know who that guy is." He does a podcast called The Real Ones. I like his
Oh,
podcast.
did you say the Punisher?
Yeah,
Oh, I was the Punisher. Nah, I haven't seen it, but I know who that guy is. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
John Bethanol is actually very, very good. He's got some great. He's had some great like military guys, like hey copter, heap of shit for having Shia LaBeouf on there.
Yeah.
The actor who's like he had some pretty serious charges about bashing women
Yeah.
and the and he had him on there and he just let him speak and just like I'm a fuck up like this is my life. I have no excuse for what's happened. I was a piece of shit, but this is on the road now I've taken to try and be of service and live a life purely being of service to people. And acting is just a way to pay for that life.
Yep.
It's not the reason I exist, which it was really interesting. He's had some. He had the an ex-president of the Hells Angels on there,
Oh.
George Christie. He was really interesting, and he's had like bad, bad gang members who've come out of jail completely changed, and literally meeting with police officers who are on the other side, and then by like John just facilitating them having a meeting and finding they have a shitload in common.
Yep.
It's just that they were on the opposite ends of that law. And now both have realized, shit, we've got to do it better. What we were doing as cops wasn't working, and what we were doing as. He's interviewed the real Donnie Brasco. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, I did that one. Johnny Depp.
Yeah. So he interviewed the real FBI agent, and he was really interesting. Even another one that I kind of gone off a little bit because I've got a bit of a moral issue with supporting him, even though he does very clearly look like he's changed his life. A guy called Michael Francis, and his story is he was an very senior mafia guy in the US,
Yep.
and was very lucky to cut a deal that he got 10 years jail only without having to inform on other mafia members.
Yep.
And he's had some interesting guests, but some of the stuff he talks about as well, like the way he said, he talks about the life and says that life's gone, it's done. FBI and all the other law enforcement agents in America are just too clever now. Because you couldn't do what we did in my time.
Yep.
He goes, and that was very clear. And he goes, and I just want to point, and like he makes a really good point. He went out, and there was an article of at one point in Forbes magazine that the 100 richest mafia figures in America. 90 either dead or like permanently in jail.
Yep.
And even those that weren't, or I think he was like about the last one alive from that era. And I think him, Sammy the Bull, and one other guy, there's three of them, and that's it. And it's like, ooh. And it was really interesting. He's got he's very religious, very So, he kind of does push that a bit, but obviously that's part of his sort of coming around, trying to sort of really change his life.
Yep.
But he's had his daughters on there, like he's interviewed his daughters, and like he said, I was shit dad, like, I was a terrible dad, and like he openly admits that. But yeah, that was interesting. Also, you might want to, if you're a wrestling fan,
Yep. Oh, not really. Sort of, but
still, like, I'm not a huge wrestling fan, but I mean, but they've SBS on demand have got a Vice series on WWE Legends, and I watched the first one earlier today on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was really interesting. It was really good. It was like it was a bit of a warts, not warts and all, but it kind of gave you enough of an insight to go, oh, this is who the guy is, and this is how he came up, and this, oh, I didn't realize that's where he started, and all that. So I think they've got like Shawn Michaels. I think they're going to have Mick Foley in there, a whole bunch of them. So, mate, plenty of good stuff out there. Not only just to read and listen to, and
yeah.
and like SBS on demand's for free. Bit of a pain. You've got to kind of sit through a few ads, but still not as many as we used to when you used to watch live to air TV. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep. We talked about podcasts, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking, what games are we playing lately? And then we got to do. We talked about doing the wheel draw of what games to play.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
yeah,
do
yeah.
that
We
after.
did.
But yeah, what do you? We did have a go at Valheim for the last week, but then it crashed again, and then you lost all your gear and lost a bunch of stuff. But I think Todd's gonna try and get it back for you. See if you can get you back on just for one last bit. But
Look, I've got some gear. Don't get me wrong. Like,
yeah,
what upset me was I got that gear with you guys the first time we played it, and you guys were so generous and so kind to gift it to me. A lot of it, like, was from Moisty and not from Moisty, from Calzo.
yeah, yeah. He did the same for me too.
Yeah, and it really fucking upset me. Sorry to swear, but it really fucking upset me because it was like it meant a little bit something to me because it was like, oh, this was a mate and he gave it to me, and and we played games together and we plowed quite a bit of time into that game. And I actually even said to Amelia last night when we were out for dinner, I was telling her, oh yeah, I'm pretty upset. We've plowed a couple of 100 hours into this game, and fucking especially Calzo. And I'm like, and I fucking lost all this shit now, and I can't get it back. And I'm like, I'm done. But if you boys want to get to a certain point and you need someone to be playing it, I'll do it. But I'll do it only as long as you guys are playing it, and then I'll move on. I think we spoke about some other games we could play.
Yeah, like Splitgate. Did play a bit of Dota 2 last night. I was getting
I-
sort of
I'm
head around it.
Once I get off here, I'm actually going to fire up the other computer, and I'm actually going to down. Is Dota 2 for free, or you got to pay
Yeah,
for
it
it?
is, and that's free. Yeah.
I might have a go because
Okay.
isn't it by Blizzard?
I think it is. Yeah, yeah.
It is by Blizzard. Oh, okay,
Just
cool.
looking to see.
Because I'm pretty sure it is. I think because it hasn't it got like some of the Overwatch characters in it and stuff. That's where
Possibly.
they came from.
Yeah, yeah, I've never played Overwatch. I don't know. Actually, I have played Overwatch, but I've never looked that into it. Like a lot of these games are older games too, so maybe it's not from Blizzard. I can't see anything. Is it?
Oh no, it's on
Steam?
Steam. No, it's Valve who
Yeah,
developed it.
Valve. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I wasn't going to throw in the deep end, yeah, but I think this week should we name two games each, or should we just name one game each, and then every fortnight we'll add a game each, or we'll just choose one person to add a game? Which do you prefer?
Mate, I'm happy to do whatever. I'm happy to play whatever. Let's.
We'll do one game each this week, and then every week we'll just add a game in. Maybe after we get about six in there, so maybe 6 weeks from now we'll get six in there. We might throw some spanners in the works where I know games that you won't like. You have to chuck one in there, or games that you think that I might not like. Throw it in there.
Mate, all you have to do is just pick a card game.
Yes, I thought.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Something's happened in the background.
Uh-oh.
We've frozen up, mate.
Oh no. Oh, lasted an hour and a half, and now
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there.
we're frozen. All right, we're gonna add a game to the wheel of names. You tell me your game.
COD multiplayer.
Oh, that means I have to buy it. That's a bit rich.
Oh, no. I take that back. No, you're not going to buy it. Oh, we could do DMZ. We'll do DMZ. You can play DMZ for free, can't you?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
DMZ. COD, yeah,
and
COD.
I'll put Warzone. So next week, those two.
Warzone. Oh, Lord. Really
Oh
must
no,
you?
no, I won't. I'll put Fortnite. Sorry, I've forgotten. I just
Fortnite, I'm happy to play. Fortnite, I am more than happy to play. Oh,
All right, wheel of names. We'll put in there. COD. DMZ. Oh, better change the screen so everyone can see what I'm seeing.
yep. No one can see anything. Hold on. Let me try and log back in, mate. And
Okay.
and give me 1 sec. I think I just added one too many windows for Chrome. That's what I think ended up doing me in. So hold on. Let me see what I can do here.
Yep.
Okay, everyone, let's see if we can do this. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get Eggy back in here. Hello. Come on, Eggy. Here we go.
We are live again.
We are live again. Okay. Quickly do it.
All right, can I share screen? You have disabled screen.
1 sec. Go for it. You should be able to do it now.
All right, share screen. We are sharing this one.
Okay.
Can you see? All right.
I can. Let's go.
Click to spin. Oh, Fortnite it is. So next week, everyone, you'll be able to catch us playing Fortnite.
Absolutely. That's all right. I'm not gonna. I might have to practice, and I might need to update the. Might need to update some things, Eggy, on the PC. See how we go.
Must have been a while since I've shared screen. Don't know how to unshare screen.
All right. I don't know. I don't know whether I can actually advanced.
There it is. Stop share.
Okay, cool. All right, we're good. All right, everyone. Before we have more technical difficulties, I think we'll pike out at this point, and we will
Catch you all next week.
catch you all next week. Some Fortnite. So come and join us 8:30ish. Two old fellas. Eggy's way better than me, but hey,
Oh, I don't know about that. I haven't played for a while.
I haven't either. So yeah,
Last time was we played together. So
yeah, it was pretty sweaty last time, but hopefully now mid-season it might not be too bad.
maybe we'll go on a bit of a hunt for the next few weeks, and we'll try and find some different games we haven't played before to add to the list.
I'll look through my list of games
All right.
that we could possibly play together. possibly play together. I'm going to check one. Oh, I don't think we could put that one on. Oh, we'd have to turn off. There's a game called Soldier of Fortune.
Yep.
I want you to check it out.
Okay.
I
Let's check
played
it out on
that.
YouTube.
I played that, and do you want to know how hilariously bad the graphics are?
Oh,
But when you shoot someone, if you don't have the blood graphics off, you literally can blow somebody's leg off and see blood on the screen. I'm like, oh, I was playing it one day, and Gabe's like, "Oh, what are you playing there, Dad?" "Oh my God, Dad, did you just blow his head off?" I'm like, yeah, you need to know. No, this isn't for you. Escape. I'm like, okay, it's paused. Yes, what can I do for you, son? Besides not give you any more nightmares. Anyway, but yes, we will check some out. We'll have a bit of a chat about it offline and go from there.
and a big shout out to iCry Havoc again for dropping by. I'm not sure, don't think you're still there. Haven't heard from you for a bit, but thanks for the follow.
Yep,
And we'll see everyone next week.
yep. Thanks, Arkwright. Take care, everyone.